Bună dimineața!
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now we have the press statements of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Bogdan Aurescu, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Hellenic Republic, Mr. Nikos Dendias. You have the floor. Minister, dear Nikos, it is a pleasure to have you here in Bucharest with the opportunity of this annual reunion of the Romanian diplomacy. It is a special honor for me, for you having accepted this invitation, and also after a round of bilateral consultation that was very substantial and which took place in very friendly atmosphere. I appreciate especially very much this visit. After we will finish the press conference, we will go together to the opening of the second day of the annual reunion of the Romanian diplomacy, where we'll discuss together with the OSCE Secretary General, Mrs. Helga Schmid, about the current security challenges. Today's meeting takes place at a special significance for a moment for bilateral relations for Greece and Romania. This year, Greece celebrates 200 years since the Revolution of Independence, an event with strong historical reverberations for Romania too. I take this opportunity to address my congratulations to the Greek people, along with good health and success. We had a consistent and extremely useful meeting with Minister Dendias, in which we reviewed the concrete ways to strengthen cooperation between our countries, and especially through the perspective of contributing to regional stability and security. Beyond the traditions that connect us and the common history, we have common approaches on many of the European topics, on security and regional topics also. The Romanian community in Greece and the Greek community in Romania contribute substantially to the development of cultural and social relations between our countries. I am also happy to be able to emphasize in our discussion the support granted by Romania to the Greek authorities in the fight against the fires that recently affected Greece. In the spirit of these traditional friendships, Romania has sent a large contingent of firefighters who joined the Greek forces and our European colleagues in fighting devastating fires through the European Civil Protection Mechanism. The activation of this mechanism is another clear example of what the EU and the European solidarity mean. We expressed satisfaction with the upward trend in the first months of this year when it comes to trade, and which suggests a strong recovery after the pandemic. So in the first 5 months of this year, we have bilateral trade of more than 100 million euro, which is 38% more than last year. Together with the minister, we agreed to make further efforts to intensify and diversify the economic and sectoral cooperation. I also thank the Minister for the constant support of Greece for two important objectives of Romania, namely the accession to the Schengen area and OECD. Romania and Greece have similar approaches on various regional topics. We have common visions and converging visions, and we have the potential to increase the joint actions and initiatives. And today we agreed to have a common plan where we can identify in detail all those common objectives and activities that we can make together. We also discuss about the regional cooperation formats, because Romania and Greece are very involved in supporting the countries in the region. We also reiterated the support for the European perspective in the Western Balkan states. We want to see the deblockage of the negotiation of the accession of Albania and North Macedonia to the EU. We've talked also about other issues on the European agenda. We talk about the conference on the future of Europe. We talk about strengthening resilience and the global role of the EU, because, as I've said several times, the EU cannot really be a global actor without being influent in its own neighborhood. And this is why Romania and Greece support the policy of extension of the EU and the more active involvement of the EU in the Eastern Partnership, in supporting the countries in the Eastern Partnership. One of the topics we talked about today was the situation in the Republic of Moldova. Yesterday we had at our meeting as guest the Minister of Foreign Affairs and European Integration, Mr. Nicolae Popescu, and we presented to the Minister Dendias what were the conclusions of all our recent contacts with the authorities in Chișinău. We underlined the importance of supporting the pro-democratic and pro-European reforms of the authorities in Chișinău, of the new government, and I was happy to see that the minister shares these appreciations, especially that immediately after our visit, His Excellency will go to Chișinău also. We talked about the situation in the Eastern Mediterranean. Romania is solidar to Greece. We've talked also about many other things, like the situation in Afghanistan, the things about migration. We talk about the humanitarian dimension of the crisis. But most of all, I would like to appreciate the very open atmosphere we had in our discussion, which corresponds to our very close relationship, the relationship between our people. And I would like to thank once again Minister Dendias for participating to the annual reunion of the Romanian diplomacy and for the openness he showed regarding all the aspects that were discussed today. Minister, thank you.
Bună dimineața, draga ministru, draga Bogdan. Allow me to thank you for your kind hospitality today. Before going any further, I would please like your permission to use my presence here in Bucharest to pay tribute to the memory of Yanos Kranidiotis. He was the Greek alternate foreign minister who 22 years ago, almost to the day, on his way to a meeting in Bucharest, was killed in a tragic accident. He was a pioneer of European integration. He was a strong advocate of European Union enlargement, as well as enhancing cooperation in Southeastern Europe. And I have to say his ideals and his principles are guiding the Greek foreign policy today. Now, if you'll allow me, I would like to express the Mitsotakis' government deep appreciation for the substantial contribution Romania provided in the crisis for her recent wildfires. Thank you so much. It's an important gesture between long-standing friends, between European Union partners, between NATO allies. Our diplomatic relations span more than 14 decades, 140 years. And I have to say thank you. It will be a great honor to address the annual gathering of Romanian ambassadors. And it will be a great honor to be received by President Iohannis later in the day. Greeks living in Romania, as well as Romanians living in Greece, contribute to further advancing ties between our two people. Elefsina and Timisoara will soon be the European capitals of culture. Bilateral trade last year, despite the pandemic, reached almost 2 billion euros. Greek investments in Romania are approximately 3.5 billion euros, and Greece is one of the favorite destinations of Romanian tourists. And we have to work more to further enhance our interconnectivity in transport, through the Via Carpathia, in the energy sector, in all sectors. This will be beneficial for all the countries of the region, including our other European Union partners. We are working together in regional schemes such as the Black Sea Economic Cooperation and the Southeast European Cooperation Process, and naturally we're working very close together within our family, the European Union. And you can count on our full support in your efforts to join the Eurozone and to join the Schengen area, as well, of course, as your bid to join the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, which we discussed before. All above is the positive side of the story. Unfortunately, they're not all things rosy. We're facing common challenges. First of all, we need to avoid, and we agree on that, the creation of a black hole in the Western Balkans. We, the European Union countries in the wider region, have a primary responsibility and direct interest to push forward the integration process of the Western Balkans. Of course, in full respect of the set conditionalities. Greece and Romania convened together a relevant European Union Foreign Ministers discussion last May. Unless the European Union fills the vacuum, others that do not share the same principles as Romania and Greece shares will try to fill it. Countries that support radical ideas, extremist movements. Similarly, we need to support our eastern neighborhoods, and this is the key message that I'm going to convey to my interlocutors on this now later today. And thank you for briefing me on the situation in Moldova. Of course, as we agreed, I'm going to tell them that there is a huge need to continue the necessary reforms. Another major challenge we share is the risk that some countries may try to instrumentalize migratory flows. We have witnessed this pattern several times in the past. And I'm going to say clearly to everybody, we will not allow this to reoccur. Recent events on the borders of Poland, Lithuania and Latvia show that no European Union country is immune from that threat. And Afghanistan may be geographically far away, but believe me, is very, very close. Last, definitely not least, we need to continue building a community of values and principles based on respect of international law, and in particular, the law of the sea, in which this ministry has a very proud tradition, if you'll allow me to say so, and you personally, my dear friend. Principles that both our countries share, and contrary to what others believe, that persist in efforts to revive 19th century principles. Greece is a NATO ally for almost 7 decades, and we continue to show our unmitigated solidarity to the alliance we belong. And contrary to other allies, we do not undermine the cohesion of the alliance from within through destabilizing actions by advanced weapons purchase or by behavior that is contrary to the values and the principles of the NATO alliance. And I have to thank Romania for its solidarity, and I have to thank also Bogdan for expressing this solidarity openly today during this press conference, and say clearly we will continue to work with Romania side by side on this. And a last, rather personal remark, if you will allow me. I believe it's your birthday tomorrow. So, on this anniversary, may I please congratulate you and hope all the best for the future, both of you personally, but also in your role as a Minister of Foreign Affairs of Romania. I'm looking to many, many happy reunions together and successful meetings. Thank you so much for your hospitality, Bogdan.
Thank you so much.
Ministers, thank you for your statements. Doamnelor și domnilor, declarațiile de presă au luat sfârșit aici. Vă mulțumim pentru
The press statements have been completed here. Thank you for your presence, ladies and gentlemen.